What if I told you that charging your car could become as outdated as hand cranking your engine? Right now, as you watch this, a Zimbabwean inventor named Maxwell Chikumbutso claims he's cracked the code that stumped scientists for centuries. A car that powers itself indefinitely. No fuel, no plug-in, no battery replacement. It glides down roads using what he describes as ambient energy harvesting, defying thermodynamics in ways that have physicists scrambling to reread their textbooks. The question isn't whether this sounds impossible, it's whether the impossible just became reality. Breaking free from the energy prison. Every car on Earth today is trapped in the same energy prison, but what if the bars were about to disappear? From the moment Henry Ford's Model T rolled off the assembly line to Tesla's latest Cybertruck, every vehicle has shared one fundamental limitation. They all need external energy sources to move. Gas cars burn fossil fuels extracted from deep underground. Electric vehicles depend on charging networks and battery packs that eventually degrade. This isn't progress. It's trading one form of energy dependence for another. The hidden costs behind this energy prison are staggering. Lithium mining has well-documented environmental impacts in South America, leaving toxic pools that poison groundwater for generations. Meanwhile, charging infrastructure creates its own inequality. Urban areas get dense networks of fast chargers, while rural communities remain stranded in charging deserts. Drive an EV through remote areas, and you'll discover the harsh reality of range anxiety in real time. Let's break down the mathematical prison bars. Fast charging reduces downtime, but still requires access to a charging network that isn't evenly distributed. Gas cars face their own constraints as crude oil extraction grows more expensive and environmentally destructive each year. Fracking operations contaminate water supplies, while offshore drilling risks catastrophic spills. The energy always comes from somewhere else, at enormous cost. The numbers reveal the scope of this trap. Charging infrastructure investments are large but uneven, favoring urban centers over rural areas. EV battery replacements cost thousands of dollars when they inevitably fail after years of use. Range anxiety keeps EV adoption rates below manufacturer projections, despite massive marketing campaigns promising convenience. Here's the paradox nobody wants to acknowledge. The world demands cleaner transportation, so we're building an entirely new infrastructure of charging stations, battery factories, and grid upgrades. We're not escaping energy dependence. We're just shifting it. Instead of gas stations, we need charging networks. Instead of oil refineries, we need lithium mines. The prison gets new walls, but the bars remain. Traditional physics tells us energy must always come from somewhere external. You burn fuel, you plug into the grid, you replace batteries. This assumption has shaped every transportation technology for over a century. But what if that fundamental assumption contains a critical blind spot? The energy prison exists because we've been thinking about power generation backwards. We search for external energy sources, oil wells, coal plants, solar farms, when the solution might involve harvesting what already surrounds us. Earth sits within multiple energy fields that we've never learned to tap efficiently. Electromagnetic radiation permeates space. Atmospheric electrical potential builds and dissipates continuously. Quantum field fluctuations create temporary energy that appears and vanishes faster than we can measure. Now imagine a vehicle that appears to free itself from those limits. No pump, no charger. What would that look like in practice? Breaking out of this prison requires technology that seems to violate everything we know about energy conservation. The impossible machine that harvests invisible energy. In Zimbabwe, an inventor named Maxwell Chikumbutso claims to have built something that defies science itself. A car that powers itself. No fuel, no charging, no batteries, just endless motion. He says the secret is pulling energy from the world around us. Things like radio signals, microwaves, the Earth's magnetic field, even energy from what looks like empty space. Sounds incredible, right? But here's the problem. Physics says this shouldn't be possible. For over 150 years, the first law of thermodynamics has told us energy can't be created or destroyed, only changed from one form to another. That's why perpetual motion machines are considered impossible. And yet, videos and witnesses claim his car moves. If true, it would be one of the biggest breakthroughs in history. Scientists admit there's energy all around us, but it's weak. Some experiments capture small amounts, like tiles that generate power when stepped on, or devices that pull tiny electricity from radio waves. But these only make enough to power sensors, not an entire car. Scaling it up has always been the unsolved challenge. So how does Chikumbutso say his car works? He claims it combines several methods: atmospheric electricity, electromagnetic fields, and even vacuum energy, to keep the motors running non-stop. If it's real, the impact would be enormous. But that's the catch. Nobody has proven it yet. And until it's tested and verified, it remains one of the most fascinating mysteries in modern science. The trillion-dollar industry about to vanish. Elon Musk built Tesla into a massive empire, but one breakthrough in Zimbabwe could make his entire business model obsolete within years. EV and charging networks represent multi-billion-dollar investments by automakers and governments worldwide. Tesla's supercharger network spans thousands of stations across multiple continents. Volkswagen's Electrify America has committed billions to charging infrastructure across the United States. China's state-sponsored charging systems dwarf both efforts, with massive investments in national charging infrastructure. This isn't just hardware, it's the foundation of the electric vehicle revolution. If self-powered vehicles become reality, every charging station becomes as useful as a payphone. Battery factories producing millions of lithium cells annually could face sharp demand reductions. Every EV manufacturer would need to rebuild their entire production strategy or watch competitors capture their market share. The transition wouldn't happen gradually like previous automotive shifts. It could hit like a technological tsunami. The cascade effect starts with charging networks potentially losing revenue streams overnight. ChargePoint, EVgo, and Tesla superchargers generate income from electricity sales and subscription fees. Remove the need for charging, and these companies could lose their primary business model. Lithium and cobalt mining businesses would be affected as new vehicles potentially eliminate battery requirements. Battery recycling facilities that process thousands of tons of lithium cells could become less valuable assets. Grid upgrades designed specifically for EV adoption might become unnecessary expenses. Utility companies have invested heavily preparing electrical infrastructure for massive EV charging loads. Smart charging systems, load balancing technology, and grid-scale battery storage could all lose their primary justification. The carefully planned energy transition might suddenly need completely different infrastructure. Companies like Ford and GM present the starkest example of strategic nightmare scenarios. Ford has invested billions transitioning to electric vehicle production. General Motors committed massive resources to EV development and battery manufacturing. These automakers could face another complete technological shift before recouping their investments. Previous automotive transitions took decades. Some proponents argue the shift could be rapid, since in theory it reduces reliance on centralized infrastructure. But scaling remains a major technical hurdle, so any timeline is speculative. Supply chain disruption extends far beyond automakers. Thousands of companies manufacture charging equipment, battery management systems, DC fast chargers, and grid integration technology. If the technology is validated and scalable, it could sharply reduce demand for charging infrastructure and certain battery supply chains, forcing automakers to pivot or risk losing competitive ground. Battery supply chains already drive strategic industrial policy. Countries that built economic strategies around EV supply chain dominance could lose their competitive edge as quickly as they gained it. So, what do industry leaders do next? Investigate, buy in, or dismiss it? That question matters because billions are already committed to the current EV roadmap. But before anyone makes trillion-dollar decisions, the physics needs to check out. The day physics textbooks got a plot twist. The most brilliant physicists on Earth are quietly reopening textbooks they thought were settled science, because Maxwell Chikumbutso's claims are forcing them to question everything. The first law of thermodynamics says energy can't be created or destroyed, which is why mainstream physics treats perpetual motion claims skeptically. Chikumbutso's claims challenge that consensus and have led some researchers to re-examine whether we've overlooked practical ways to harvest diffuse environmental energy. Yet his self-powered vehicle operates continuously without any identifiable external energy source, creating a fundamental conflict that challenges the very foundation of modern physics.